Hey, what's up, y'all? So, I was just thinking, have y'all ever felt like you went through a stage of like loneliness and isolation? If so, you're not alone. You're not alone at all. Like, I found that sometimes I go through that as well. I feel like I'm kind of going through that a little bit, although I do at times have a select few people who I do talk to. It just doesn't seem like, I talk to them on that everyday basis like I normally do. But I have learned that sometimes it is okay to go through, that loneliness and isolation, because sometimes it's important to get that peace of mind for yourself as well. But yeah, I was also just having a discussion with someone, and they were just, kind of feeling like they were asking if it's wrong, sometimes to feel like you kind of need that me time and need to kind of remove yourself from others. And I was just explaining to this particular person, like, no, it's perfectly fine. It doesn't mean that you dislike someone or, you don't love that person anymore. But, sometimes we just need that time for ourselves, to get our mind right. I kind of feel like whenever you get that alone time, your me time, sometimes that's the greatest time, because that's when you're able to kind of think a little bit more clearer, or you're able to deal with certain situations to yourself that you're not able to deal with in front of other people. But just overall, y'all, like I said, I want to be a psychologist. Like, that's what I'm going to school for. And I mean, I'm not perfect either. I go through my own little situations and things like that. But I have noticed, when I do take that time out to be kind of to myself, it does help me out a lot. Like, it gives me that time to be able to like breathe and clear my mind and be able to kind of tackle those individual issues that I'm having. Because sometimes when you're around a lot of people, you're not really able to sometimes express yourself, or you may not feel like you're on the same page as other people, or other people aren't on the same page as you, or may feel like someone is kind of being judgmental and judging you. But I feel like when you isolate yourself and when you're kind of to yourself, you're able to be in that safe space by yourself, with no judgment, with no other person's opinion. And sometimes that's just what we need, and for me personally, I am going through that stage, like I said, right now. I'm going through that stage right now, but that's like the best time for me to, kind of think positively and kind of think like towards my future and see what things I want to change, what things I want to, do differently. And I mean, I never really realized that sometimes naturally it just happens. Sometimes naturally you may see like, okay, you distance yourself. You may not notice, but someone may come to you like, man, I haven't heard from you in like a week, 2 weeks. Like, I haven't heard from you in a month. But once you catch up with that person, you have like so many like different topics and stories and ideas to tell that person. That's because you took that time out to like be able to be by yourself and just have that moment to yourself, to be able to be vulnerable and to be able to have that time and that space and that energy to come up with different things. So to be honest, I was just talking to this particular person, and I was just letting them know that they're not a bad person for doing that. Like, everyone goes through that phase, even if they don't realize that they've been through it. And I just let them know, like, a lot of times you can come out on top, and that can make you a better person, so don't feel guilty for it. And if another person, is feeling some type of way, you can just, reassure them like it had nothing to do with you. It was nothing against you. It was just something that I had to do within myself. But, I still care about you. I still love you. And just like reassure them that it wasn't them. It was just something that you needed to do at that time. And, you know, once we had that conversation, the person who I was speaking to, they felt so much better. And I feel like a lot of times whenever I'm speaking to somebody, I could take that same, you know, that same advice for myself, and it made me feel a lot better, because I'm like, you know what, not really realizing it, I'm in the same situation, like currently right now I'm in isolation. Yeah, it's like my life is starting all the way over. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm 35, I'm about to be 36 next month, February 4th, and it's just like, since 2020, and I know this is for a lot of people, my life has changed. It has changed, it's evolved, and it's just like been a big transition, you know, in a positive way. You know, sometimes when you're in a situation, you feel like it's negative, you feel like it's the worst situation, but you know, when you're slowly coming out of it, it's like, okay, well, it was meant to happen. You know, a lot of things is just meant to happen, but it's hard to see when you're inside it. Well, where I'm at in life, you know, it was hard in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Like, I went through it, y'all. I went through it. But now that it's been a few years, you know, things is getting better, and I'm starting to see that light at the end of the tunnel. It's like, okay, it was most definitely needed. Like, I just feel like I've been stripped from everything. Me and my kids have been stripped from everything, and we are starting fresh. We're starting over. And I found myself, you know, in isolation. I found myself to myself, because in a way, sometimes when you're going through stuff, you feel like other people can't relate to you. You feel like you're by yourself. You feel alone. You feel like you can't, you know, confined in other people. And that's kind of how I felt. You know, I feel like that particular situation that I was in, that's not everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So you can't feel how I feel. So sometimes you just feel like the best option is for you to, you know, remove yourself and just isolate yourself. And I don't see anything wrong with it. So for anyone who is going through, you know, a season of isolation, a season of loneliness, it's not going to be like that forever. It's just something that you have to go through so that you can, you know, have that peace of mind, and it brings you closer to whatever you need to get closer to. But in general, don't feel guilty. That's my main point. Like, don't feel guilty for sometimes having to remove yourself from different situations, from different environments, from your family, from your friends, because sometimes you just need to get that peace of mind. Sometimes you just need to get that peace of mind, and it's okay. It's okay to feel, you know, like you can't confide in a person. It's okay to feel kind of like, you know, like you just need that alone time. It's perfectly fine. And again, like I said, I'm going through it at this moment. It's so crazy that I'm able to, you know, even still record and talk to you all and just like be able to vent. But in a way, I feel like it's also self-healing for me as well, because of everything that I'm going through. I'm able to like just talk out loud to myself, and I feel like what I'm going through, other people can relate to as well. So I feel like it's very beneficial. And then again, like I said, the main reason why I'm also, well, a couple of reasons, because I want to make money as well, but also I want to document this. I want to be able to go back and be like, dang, I was in that space, but look at me now. You know what I'm saying? Like, now I would be lying if I said I wasn't trying to make money as well. Like, this is a passive income. You can make money like this as well, but also touch others. So I'm trying to see where this will bring, because y'all, I work so hard. So I'm really trying to find a passive income. And this is not the only thing that I'm going to try. I'm going to try other things, but this is one. But I also feel like I can, you know, also touch others as well, and others may be able to relate to me as like I'm able to relate to other people. But also, like, I can't wait to be able to go back to this moment and be like, dang, I was in that space, but look at me now. You know, although I'm saying right now I'm in isolation, I'm to myself, I'm by myself, you know, at this moment, I will be able to look back, and maybe at that moment when I'm looking back, I'm at a good space. You know, I don't know, I just really, this is me trying to look into my life without anybody else, you know, saying, you're doing a good job, or you was like this at that point in time. Like, I'm able to actually get, like, I'm able to be a fly on the wall. Like, I don't know, that's the easiest way I can put it. Like, I'm really trying to be able to see it for myself, and, you know, be grateful for it. Be grateful and humble about my progress. So that's just where I'm at. But overall, y'all, if y'all are in a season of loneliness and, you know, separation and isolation, don't feel bad. You know, embrace it. Embrace it and make the best out of it, and figure out what you need to do. Figure out why you're in that season, so that you can, you know, be successful, and so that you can graduate, and so that you can go to a different level and go to a new season. But you most definitely need to take that time for yourself to figure out some things, because, you know, that's going to be the best for you, your family, and for your future. And that's where I'm at as well. You know, I have to take my own advice as well. You know, and I don't feel bad. I don't feel guilty. And trust me, I have a sensitive side to me, and I feel bad as well. But I also notice, like, sometimes if your close loved ones are going through that, like if your cousin or your favorite person or like your best friend, you know, people who you're really close to, if you see that they're a little distant, it's okay to ask, like, are you okay? Are you good? You know, sometimes people will be verbal and let you know, like, just need a little bit of space. I got a lot going on, this and that. But if they're not verbal with it, sometimes you can kind of figure out, like, you know what, they just need some time to themselves. Just embrace it. Just let them know that you're there for them. You know, sometimes people just need to know, like, okay, I'll give you your space. Just know I'm here for you. I'm here for you. That's all sometimes people need. Like, it's just a hug and just reassurance, like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm here when you're ready to talk to me and things like that. And that's what I try to be, you know, for my close loved ones as well. You know, I know, like, just growing up in the beginning, I just felt like sometimes if some of my cousins was kind of like distant, it meant that they was mad or stuff like that. But that's not necessarily what that means. It just means that they're going through something and they just need that time and that space, and maybe they weren't able to vocalize that. But now that I'm older, I really understand it. And again, I know that we all are different. We're all going through, you know, our different situations. But if you need that time and that space, and you're just feeling overwhelmed, you know, being around other people and feeling like, you know, you're by yourself or people don't get you, sometimes it's just best to isolate yourself and to get to yourself and just figure out, you know, what you need, you know, as an individual. And it's perfectly fine. But yeah, I just wanted to get on here just to see, like, have y'all felt, you know, sometimes like you need that space from basically the world just to get your mind right. But y'all, I don't want to hold you too long. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, turn on that post notification, and I'll talk to y'all later. Keep y'all heads up. See ya.